Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Everybody. You can't see half of the mess that's in this room, which is fantastic. What I was shooting for. Hello, everybody. So, I did a poll on my Instagram like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, asking you guys what video you would prefer watching, the basics of anxiety, what it is, what it does, the psychology and biology of it all, or 5 things that have and continue to help me with my anxiety. And that was the one that won, so that's what I'm going to do today. So here are the 5 things that I do to help me with anxiety. Before we get into it, I kind of want to give you guys some history on my anxiety, so that way it's not like ambiguous when I'm talking about this and like things come up and you're kind of like, what? So I have been dealing with anxiety for way too long, if I'm being honest. It all started when I was in 7th grade. I was 12 in 7th grade, and I'm 20 now. So that means too fucking long. 8 years, okay? And ongoing, unfortunately. So yeah, for more than half of my anxiety career, let's just put it that way, I have not managed it well. I didn't know how to guide it. I didn't know how to live with it. So this is all the 5 tips I'm gonna give you guys. It's, I think 2 of them have been in the process in the whole 8 years, and the other 3 have been new things that I've tried in this past year that have helped tremendously. And yeah, let's get to it. This time for real, now that you guys know how long I've been dealing with my anxiety and whatnot. Okay, so ooh, that was a good clap. Didn't even hurt or anything. Number 1 was something that took me a very long time, 7 years to be exact, to feel comfortable to do. And it was actually what started the snowball effect of bettering my anxiety. And that is therapy. I was not okay, or I wasn't okay with the idea of therapy up until last year. So prior to that, I thought therapy was for crazy people and psychos and not people like me. I knew I had something going on in my life when it first started when I was 12 that was off. I knew something was off that I knew not a lot of people in my class or my school felt that I did. And I just didn't know how to put it together. So I wasn't really worried about it. I was worried about, it was more so the feeling that I would have in my chest that would worry me to an extent. But I wasn't concerned about what that feeling was. I was just concerned with getting it out. So when my mom was the one that suggested seeing a psychologist. And when I would hear psychologist in my head, psycho was just attached to it, which it is in a sense, psychologist. But I would just think like, bro, like I'm not crazy, ma. Like I'm fine. Like I got this. I'm gonna get through it. Don't worry. I'm a 12-year-old independent ass. It's fine. I got it under control. Chill. I did not. Now looking back, I can only imagine how much progress, where I would be if I would have listened to my mom and would have put my pride away and said, you know what, you're right. Let's go see a psychologist. Let me go see a therapist. When my anxiety first started developing and building a home in me, in my soul, in my head. And it's crazy because I was having anxiety about helping my anxiety. Anxiety literally made me feel like a psychologist is only for psychos. Bro, like that's literally anxiety in a nutshell. It just makes you believe things that are not, it makes you feel things that are not, whatever. Yes, therapy. I went to therapy for 4 to 5 months, and I was meeting up with my therapist once a month, and I had her phone number. I would text her whenever I needed to vent, let it out, which was a lot in the beginning of this year. This past year, I had anxiety from October. It's been a whole year. It's been an anxiety I literally felt it every single day. So I guess you could call my anxiety seasonal prior to this year, but this year it was eventful for me, okay? Very. So it sucked, and I hit rock bottom, and rock bottom like deep, deep in there, you know? Like some days I would wake up and it felt like impossible. Some days it was just like, how am I gonna, like again, sleep became the only place where I would feel nothing, but I wouldn't actually feel nothing because I was asleep, if that makes any sense, you know? Like I wouldn't feel free because I was asleep. I was knocked out. And then when I would wake up, it was like, I kid you not, it was like a minute, maybe less than a minute of no chest, like no weight on my chest. And then it was like my soul, my mind, everything just like, it would click, it would wake up fully, and it was just like, oh. So I said, you know what, therapy has been something I've been putting off for years, actually years. I think it's time that I freaking realize, put my pride away, and tell myself, like, bro, I can't do this by myself. I need help. It was really hard to admit that because you want to be able to conquer something by yourself, especially something that's that hard, that takes up so much of your life. And be able to say like, yeah, like I did it and it was on me. And yeah, that might feel good, but I was so over it. I was so tired, and I just literally knew I wouldn't be able to get this. I wouldn't be able to conquer this quest by myself this time around. I decided that I needed to hand it over to somebody that was professional and that knew that was their, you know, their whole ordeal. Their whole purpose in life is to help people like me and people that deal with these kinds of disorders. And I was like, you know what, screw it. I much rather feel the little defeat that I couldn't do this on my own, rather than every single day feel like I can't live. Like I'm literally not living. I am sure I'm breathing and I'm eating and pooping and whatever, but I'm not living. And there's such a big difference between having a life and living it. And it's so cheesy, but whatever. I was over it. I was over feeling like a zombie. It worked for like I said, that snowball effect. It got it going. I finally had some days where I would feel it less than 24 hours, which it was a big break for me. But you know, it was so much better than nothing. So I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna do it. And it felt so good to let things out. And in the moment it was scary because I didn't know if I was gonna be judged or if it wasn't gonna work. That was my main concern, actually. What if this doesn't work? And then I was like, nothing is already working for me. Like, nothing's working for me without it. What's the worst that can happen? Not work? Well, I'll be back to square one and then I'll just have to try something different. But, you know, it's all in you. And let me just say this straight up. If you're not ready for therapy, it's not going to work. Plain and simple. I'm sorry. It has to be in you. If you want it to work, you want it to work. And you need somebody to be able to tell you how to think outside this box that your anxiety puts inside of your head. And you have to be able to get out that box and see over it and see around it and see under it, because anxiety is so fluid. It's a disorder that literally adapts to every chapter in your life. It morphs, and that's why it's so hard to find something that continuously works for you, because it's anxiety. It's never ending. It feels like, So it's okay to be frustrated, and it's okay to feel like nothing's gonna work, but do not feel like there isn't help out there for you, because there is. And so this is why I decided to go with therapy. So that's my number one. Um, I know therapy is there could be an issue with money sometimes. With insurance, it's expensive. It can become expensive, so I can only imagine how much more it is without insurance. Um, so I'll just share how much it was for me with insurance. So with me, it was $25 a session. It was 12 sessions. It was once a month. Um, and I know, depending on how severe your disorder is or what you're going through, they'll have more sessions with you. But for me, it was 12 sessions, which was once a month. And 12 times 25, do the math, it's expensive. So I only did 4 to 5 months. I didn't end up going through my insurance. That's another story. So I didn't actually have to pay the $25. I got lucky. I went on the App Store and I found some apps for y'all if you want to download them. These are apps that are confidential. They work as a therapist, as a counselor. I believe they all have professional licensed physicians, psychologists. And they're all trained. They have volunteers also, that if you just need to vent to somebody that doesn't, it's a clean slate, they have those people. If you need a licensed psychologist to help you out, they have those people as well. So I've never tried them, but they all have 4 stars and above on the App Store. And I've heard of one of these, and I've actually heard people using these kind of apps around me. So if you want to start little by little, and you feel like you're not completely there yet to try the whole counseling, therapy, psychologist, etc., psychiatrist, then I suggest using these apps. One of them is called Talkspace. The other one is BetterHelp, and the other one is 7 Cups. So if any of you end up trying those, please let me know. Okay, that was number 1. Moving on to number 2. Kind of came along with the therapy. I was on meds. So this is something that I actually don't share super openly about. I'm not embarrassed to say that I was on meds. It's just not something that I feel like it's necessary to say. It's become so normalized in our society that it's like, almost every single time you hear someone talk about a therapist, you not automatically put 2 and 2 together, but most of the time, so some people on medications, they're taking medications for whatever it is that they're going through. So like I said, this year was really, really hard for me. I was that person that if you ever, along with therapy, medication was not an option for me. I didn't want it. No, it was just plain no. It was something that if you brought up, I was just like, yeah, like that's cool or whatever, but no thanks. Thank you, next. I have heard enough stories in my life to where it was like,
you're gonna get addicted, you're gonna depend on it, it is not good for you, it doesn't even work, you feel like shit, it changes your mood, you're a different person, you feel like you don't really feel anything, nothing is in your life, it just feels like you're watching it happen.
So many stigmas around medication in my head and with people around me that have tried it. And it was just those kind of stories that stuck with me throughout the years that I've been dealing with anxiety, that just made me think that, I'm not going to try meds ever. I don't want to. I don't care. Anxiety is going to have to suck it up, and therapy is going to have to be enough. I do not want medication. Well, my anxiety was so bad that my therapist already knew I was against them. But she was like, look, you are in a place right now where I feel like you need to just take the edge off, you know? And I feel like you should just chill, you know, just have that little zen moment to yourself. And I feel like you're not going to be able to do that without some sort of medication right now. So, yeah, let's do it. Let's put you on. And I was like,
Are you sure? Are you sure I really need this? Because I do not want them. I don't like them.
And she was like, yeah, bro, you need them.
I was like, oh, okay, let me just mentally prepare myself for something that I feel like is going to completely change my mind. And I'm going to start depending on them. And then, well, this medication that she put me on, she's a psychiatrist, by the way, licensed psychiatrist, totally okay. I asked my therapist, I was like, can I drink while I'm on meds? Like, can I drink beer or wine or alcohol? No, I'm not a heavy drinker, but, you know, like once in a while, if I want to go out with my friends and drink, then can I do that? And she was like, yeah, as long as it's not after you take it. And I was like, well, I kind of take it at night, so that's a bummer, because that's when it's going to happen, you know, that's when I'm most likely going to drink. So I actually kind of stopped taking it that way, and it wasn't planned. One time I didn't take it because I wanted to drink, and then the next day I forgot, and then the next day I forgot again, and then I remembered the fourth day. And it's something where if you don't take it, you have to be really careful. Like I said, medications aren't a joke. So I have to be really careful with how you're taking them and that you're consistent. And if you, like, it was something where she told me that if you cut off out of your body like this, it's going to be a change in your body, because it's something that you were willingly putting in your body to feel better. And if it's just like absent, it's like, oh, where'd it go? I was taking a very, very, very low dosage. And when I mean low, I mean these were drops, so they weren't pills. That's also a big difference between pills and drops and capsules and whatever. 6 drops were equal to 1 milligram. I was taking 2 a night. It wasn't even a quarter of it was exactly 1/4. I was like, wait, it was exactly 1/4 of a milligram, right? 2 over 6. Yeah, a quarter. So it was super minimal, and I think that's why it wasn't such a huge deal that I forgot and I stopped them the way that I did. But yeah, so I decided to not take them one night because I wanted to drink, and then I forgot the next night to take them, and then the next night to take them, and then the next night I remembered and I took them, and then I forgot after that too. So I was like, I'm feeling good and I'm not taking them. I don't feel like I need them. Which is a reason why I would keep forgetting at night, you know, because you would think that I was feeling really anxious. I wouldn't forget it because I needed it. So obviously my anxiety was better. I felt less anxious, and I know I did. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna take them anymore. And if in a week my anxiety worsens, it gets bad, then so be it. A week without meds, that's crazy, you know. That's great. But yeah, I ended up not taking them at all. So I am now meds free. Really cool. Literally 8 months ago, it was like the only hope that I had to feel some sort of relief throughout my day. So it feels really good to say that.
So back to the warnings.
It's not a joke. It's not a joke at all. Like I said, do not share your medications with people that just because you have the same disorder, why not? No, it's not. It's something that is detrimental to your body. If you're a girl, it's like birth control. Like, it changes your body. You don't feel, I can't speak for those that take the pill because I never did, but at least for the drops, it felt good to me. I didn't experience any nasty symptoms. I didn't experience anything that was suicidal. I didn't experience dependency. I didn't feel like I ever needed to take my medication, even after I was forgetting. I never felt throughout my day like, oh my god, I feel different because I didn't take, like, no, it was just more so mental. And I don't think it was a placebo effect, because I really do think it did help. But 2 drops a night helped me cut like my overthinking. All right, number 3. So this one is one of the ones that makes sense. This one is one that I have been doing for a really long time, but I recently took it a lot more seriously, and it kind of opened this little door of love that I have for a new hobby, and that is my journal. So this used to be my diary. Okay, see, anybody that says there is no difference between a diary and a journal is lying. Okay, there's a huge difference. So I cannot express enough how much taking journal writing, journaling, on a more serious note, I cannot express how much that has changed my anxiety. I think this over medication, and maybe going same around therapy has made the biggest impact in managing it and guiding my anxiety. It is crazy. I think this is the first thing that whenever someone asks me, like, oh, like, how are you doing with anxiety? Like, how do you control it? How do you manage it? How do you guide it? This is the first thing that comes to mind. And to be honest, it's because it's made the biggest difference in the world. And I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over again, but I cannot express enough. And I said that already 3 times. It is an escape. It is something that I feel to a, like, I don't know, I just feel like it strikes me in a sense where I feel like I'm just letting it out with no judgment from anybody. Anxiety does this thing, at least to me, where some of the things that I deal with in my head are too strong for me to express and reflect and learn from if I don't write it down. So writing things down, it is crazy, and I love poetry now. I've always, okay, let me rephrase that. I have a much bigger passion for poetry now. Now that I've been able to open this door of safeness, of like a safe zone for my mind, it is everything, you know. That's literally what you need for anxiety. You need to be able to just let it rip without feeling like you're gonna fall apart. At this point, everything is just gonna tie in together. Therapy taught me to look at my anxiety and not get anxiety about my anxiety. Of course, I still have anxiety about my anxiety sometimes. Of course, it is so much harder to do than to hear about it. So much easier said than done. But it is something that journaling and therapy tied together, it's helped me reflect on my anxiety without feeling like I'm garbage, without feeling like the world is gonna fall on my shoulders and it's gonna be horrible and I'm horrible and I don't have a good life and my life sucks and I don't know how to get better, and you know, it just makes you learn so much about yourself. And journaling to me is, I'm crafting my anxiety in a healthy, efficient way. And it's, like I said, it made my love to poetry. I love poetry. So I don't know if we can call this number 4 or 3.5. Poetry is fantastic. There is something about reading words that attach to your life and that flow in your life so well that brings comfort to you. With anxiety, it is so easy to feel like you're alone. It is so easy to feed yourself doubt and these wild thoughts and feelings in chest that you don't know how to explain. Sometimes I don't know how to explain what I'm feeling, and that's why writing things down helps, because I'm able to guide my mind to come up with a plan, to come up with a solution to what I'm feeling, and then explain what I'm feeling. Sometimes I feel before I can even explain what's going on. And poetry and writing has helped a lot. So this was my very first poetry book. Shout out to Evelyn. Make you feel some type of way. It's like music. Great analogy, Angela. Good job. I know music is an escape for so many people, and as it is for me. Which is kind of funny because I don't like to listen to music when I'm going through something that's anxious, because later on I'll listen back to that music and I think to how I felt, and I don't do that. I don't like that. I don't roll with that, which is really funny because a lot of people go to music to feel better. I will listen to music while I don't feel good, but I won't purposely listen to music to make myself feel better, because I'll just put two and two together when later on in the future, whatever. That's part of my anxiety. So I go to journaling into poetry when I want to feel better. And it helps me feel like I'm letting things out, and it makes me feel like I'm actually being, what's the word? Not constructive. It just makes me feel like, productive. It feels like I'm being productive with my anxiety. I'm more for the meaning and how it relates to my life, and I love when I can read a poem and be like, oh my god, like I couldn't have said it better myself, or this is literally what I'm feeling. One thing that I'm going to say about journaling is that you're going to feel silly at first. You're going to feel crazy. You're going to read and be like,
oh my god, I am the worst.
I don't know how to channel my inner self. I don't know what the hell I'm writing for, who I'm writing for, what am I saying. I'm being so dramatic and cheesy right now. This is something that they use in movies, not something that actually helps. Pause, honey.
That shit works, okay?
It's not an overnight process. It's something that builds up, and with time, you'll get really good at it, and it's sometime it'll just be your lifesaver. Like I said, these are all things that I'm doing that help me, that I'm gonna pass on to you guys, and hopefully you guys will get something out of this. That will be the best thing for me, is if you guys actually get something out of this and you guys feel like one of my tips helped you in any sort of way. Oh my god, it would be amazing. Okay, so number 4. I should probably start off with this one, but it's fine. Research. It is so hard to understand something when you do not know anything about it. What you're feeling, you do not understand already. And for you to not understand why you're feeling it is another level. It jumped out of me, this disorder when I was 12. A young ass child. Okay, I didn't know what the hell was going on. My mom didn't know it was an anxiety disorder. I come from a Hispanic family. Anxiety is not an excuse for feeling like crap, okay? In a Hispanic household,
Get over it. Well, stop thinking about it. You'll be fine. Just do this, just do that. Don't worry. Pray.
and it's like, oh my god. You don't think that if I could stop thinking about it, I would? You know? Anyways, it's all been a learning process for my family too. So, if there is one thing that will help you, it's researching and learning. And I'm talking about not just going on Google and seeing the symptoms of anxiety, or no, like really, really researching it. Like, anxiety, the psychology side, the biology side. What is this chemical imbalance that is going on in my head? How does it affect me in my everyday being, in my everyday living? How can I better it, you know? What are the causes and effects of this? You know, it's really interesting, and it's not just because I'm a psychology major, but it is one of the reasons why I decided to do psychology, is because I wanted to understand my disorder in a deeper meaning and a deeper level, because I wanted to so badly overcome this situation. And anxiety is not something that's just gonna go away. It won't go away. It's genetic for me. You know, it's genetic in a lot of circumstances. But for me to know more about it, to research it, to understand it, to not be afraid of it, takes a huge chunk of anxiety off my shoulders and off my chest and off my head and my brain and you name it. We've already gone over that's a chemical imbalance. Go ahead and research what the fuck that means. You can't help it. It is something that you can't help. It's literally biological. Sorry. Sucks. I know. And psychologically, well, it fucks with you. Yeah. That's literally number 4. Just know what the hell you're going through, or what you're feeling, what you're dealing with. It's so much easier to defeat something when you know it's tricks, when you know that you're not crazy, that it's not you. Yes, it's you, but it's something that's living in you. That's what I call it. My anxiety is something in me. I'm its home. It's just Modelo time for anxiety 24/7. Okay, next. Number 5. So, this is actually something that you guys will be able to relate or not relate at all, because this is one of those things where it is time consuming. It is discipline. It is willingness. It's like therapy, but physical form. And I feel like you guys already know what I'm trying to say. Yes, bitches, it's working out. Okay, it's going to the gym. It is some physical activity. It is proven that running, exercise, it is literally heaven for people that deal with anxiety disorder. You might not feel like heaven, but it releases endorphins and it makes you get used to your heart beating fast and in a time in matter where it's not scary to you. So when later on in the day you're not at the gym but your heart starts to beat fast, psychologically, subconsciously, it's not going to be as scary to you. Believe it or not, that's a side effect of anxiety. Or not a side effect, but it's something that people with anxiety sometimes deal with. When their heart beats fast, for no reason, they get anxiety. Why? Because it's like something's wrong. What's wrong? Is there anything wrong? You know? So going to the gym is such a huge help. And it's gotten me not only in shape, just kidding.
I'm so bad at going.
But going to the gym literally puts your life in a different perspective. It's like you're getting your life together in a sense. You have time management because you're crunching in that time to go work out, whether it's at the gym or in your house or running or whatever. Going outside, walking, it's like a huge life changer. And then you'll feel better about yourself because you're like, oh my god. You
Walking past the mirror. Damn, I'm fine. Let a bitch drive me on. Hammer time.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's like you're getting your life together and then you see yourself in the mirror and then you might actually even see results and you're just like, wow, this is fantastic. And it's just a great time. It's like your own arena. It's like your own match. It's like you and just you. It's you against you, how it always should be in life. You're not competing against anybody else. When you're competing against yourself is when you grow the most. It is when you learn the most. It is when you are more efficient in becoming a better person. When it's just you against you, and that's it. It feels good to know that you did that by yourself, and it's so much easier to have someone else push you. But and it's not bad. Have someone else push you. Go with you. Get a gym buddy. Go together. Do something. It's literally so good for your mental health and physical health just to know that you are doing it. And I think it should be something that y'all should try. So this is a long ass video, and if you made it to the end, thank you so much. I hope it helped you. I hope it made you feel like you're not alone. And you're not. You're really not. Oh my god, you're not. Trust me. Oh my god. It's so hard. I know. It's so hard to understand and to really believe that there is a better side to all of this, because I was there and I felt like nothing was oh my god. It's so frustrating because I can't make you feel what I felt and make you believe that what I'm telling you right now is nothing but a advice, or nothing but you'll get better. No, it is hope, okay? It is facts. If I fucking made it, if I was able to dig myself out of that hole that I created for myself, okay, that my anxiety helped create for me, and I was able to dig out of there with no ladder and just literally climb out, you can do it. You can do it. You just have to believe that you can. It is all in here. It is all in here. Surround yourself with positivity, with people that make your life better, and don't drag you down, don't feed you negativity. You have enough of that in your head, okay? You have to just keep pushing forward. Don't expect this to work overnight, and I said that consistently through the video. It is something that takes time. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. That was the very first thing my therapist ever told me. And it really is. It's gonna get worse because they're inner demons that you've been suppressing, that you've been avoiding, that you haven't learned how to manage. And for them to disappear, well, they're gonna have a rude awakening, and they're gonna try to fuck with you, but guess who's gonna come out on top? You. You have to want to get better for you to get better, and please get yourself there. If you don't feel ready right now, look, I don't blame you. I didn't feel ready for a very long time. It took me years, but don't let it get to that. Don't let it get to that extent to where you have to feel shitty, rock bottom, to finally realize that, look, I got a fucking problem and I'm gonna fix it. So without any more babbling and on, I'm gonna end it here and just thank y'all again for watching. And I really hope some of these help you. You try some of these out. Oh my god, I didn't even say the most important one. This is the one that I've advertised the most. Oh my god. This is the app Headspace. Download it. I lived by it for a while. My therapist recommended it to me. I should have said this with the other apps that I said, whatever. Headspace. It has really cool features. You can fall asleep to music, to little thing. It's not ASMR. Trust me, if you're weirded out by that, it's not that at all. It's amazing. Oh my god, I cannot believe I didn't talk about this app. I'll end that there. We're good. Thank you. Bye.